Steve, for David Quinn, he's the 35th coach in the history of the Rangers, and it's the first time ever that the Rangers have hired a coach directly from the NCAA.
The NHL is ready for this now, Bill. 10 years ago, I'd look around the locker room and I'd see Brendan Shanahan, Marcus Naslund, you'd see Jaromir Jagr. Do you think they were going to listen to David Quinn back then? No. But the NHL now has gotten so young, the older guys are gone, the Rangers could potentially have 10 collegiate graduates in their lineup next year. This is David Quinn's wheelhouse. The message from the Rangers is not to develop players and lose, it's to do them simultaneously. And that's what he's specialized at BU. He's been putting out NHL players year after year while they continue to win. So this is the perfect fit, and I'm not surprised at all that they went this direction. It's been pretty clear from the outset. It was going to be Jim Montgomery from Denver or David Quinn from BU. And they got their guy.
All right, Steve, let's take a look at the resume for David Quinn. And as you see, basically the only thing he hasn't done yet, he's done everything but be a head coach of an NHL team.
25 years of experience, and he's done it at every level. At the NHL level, he's even been there for a year. In the American Hockey League for 3 years. But it's the time at BU, Bill, where you really build a reputation in hockey for yourself because they have such extraordinary talent there. Last year at BU, they had 4 forwards that were NHL draft picks. They had 7 defensemen and a goaltender. They have 12 NHL picks already on their team. And he's been pushing these guys out year after year. Charlie McAvoy, Clayton Keller, go through the list. So it's all through the league, and that's why it's no surprise that this is the guy that the Rangers chose.
Also, Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel. How could you forget Jack Eichel? Exactly.
And also of note that wasn't there on the resume is how involved Quinn has been in the development program of Team USA. It's been a huge part of his resume as well.
Big time. And with that, you get international experience. And he's had 12 tournaments internationally or more. So you can't go much further into a longer path. And when you look at other NHL coaches, Mike Babcock, he had 7 or 8 years of development before he coached in the NHL. Joe Quenneville, same thing. Everybody takes a long path. We see these coaches sometimes for the first time and we take it for granted. Their path is as long as it is for the players. So he's gone through 25 years of personal development, and when you listen to him, he's got a strong likeness to Mike Sullivan in Pittsburgh that I played for. And again, a similar path. They're both BU guys. They played together. Or John Hines, who's been terrific in New Jersey. Similar path. All of these guys, and this is the new NHL, this is what the NHL is leaning on now for experience from their coaches.
Now, as a former player, if you're a veteran in the room, you mentioned the Rangers have a lot of players that have played in college, but if you're a veteran in a room and you have a first-time coach who's never been an NHL head coach before, what kind of impact might that have?
You can't say that it's instant credibility because he hasn't done it yet. But what he has done is had success at the collegiate level where those players are very familiar with playing. And if you look at a new player like a Neil Pionk or a John Gilmore that's going to be very instrumental on the Ranger defense, well, that's exactly where David Quinn has specialized, and that's defensemen specifically in developing them. So if you take that into account, or a player that's now in the leadership role, like a Chris Kreider that just had 10 points overseas at the World Championships for the United States, who's a big part of the New York Rangers. He's very familiar with David Quinn from being at BC and in that neighborhood of players. I think the players for the New York Rangers are going to bring this in, and I'm just saying that it would not have been accepted 12 years ago when I was there. It just wouldn't have been, because college coaches back then, they were considered rah-rah types that would just motivate and give you the Herb Brooks speech. And that's not the case anymore because there is such an influx of college players in the NHL right now. Well, where are they all coming from? A good bunch of coaches exist at that level that just haven't been uncovered yet.